Alright, what's up everybody? It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video. Uh, yeah, life's been crazy, which is why I've had to take a bit of a break, but we're back, we're talking, and I'm actually going to talk about a different subject today because, uh, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerdy, I like nerdy things. And one of those things is Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out, I believe it was now going to be, I think 2 weeks ago? Came out, when did Five Nights at Freddy's? No, a week ago. Uh, almost a week ago. I'm recording this at 11:39 p.m. on Thursday, December 11th. When this video comes out, it'll most likely be Friday, December 12th. So that basically means that Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the movie, has been out for almost a week now. Now, the reason I am talking about Five Nights at Freddy's is because, well, I'm a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. The first game came out when I was in middle school, like fifth or sixth grade, and I fell in love with it immediately because it was awesome. And just seeing how one horror game that wasn't supposed to be much has just blossomed into a huge franchise with 11 games, like 20, I think like 20 something books, multiple coloring books, and now two movies is pretty crazy. But I saw Five Nights at Freddy's 2 last Sunday. I've had a few days to decompress the movie and what's happened during it. I'm probably gonna go see it again. But I'm making this video just so I can talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, my thoughts on the movies, I'll give a rating for it, as well as some of my initial thoughts of what we could see in the third movie, although the third movie, at least from what I've read, we may not be getting until the absolute earliest would be next year. I think the latest would be 2027 or early 2028 maybe. Um Yet again, it's up to what Blumhouse wants to do with it because I feel like definitely seeing how the movie's already made about 300% of what its budget was in a week. I can't help but imagine there's going to be a third movie. So, uh, this again, I'm gonna talk about the movie for a little bit. I'm gonna start off giving you my rating, what I thought about the movie, why you should not listen to critics for fucking movies ever, and then I'll get into just breaking down the movie a little bit and talking about what I think we could see happen in the third from a Five Nights at Freddy's standpoint. Maybe not even just a third movie, maybe even more. I know Scott Cawthon originally said there was only going to be three movies, but seeing how much the first two have really done well, you know, plans change. So we could absolutely see more than three. But uh, my official rating on the movie, just to get it out of the way, I'm gonna go solid 8.5 out of 10. I lean more towards 8.5 though. Now I do like this movie a little bit more than the last one. While I absolutely love the last movie, the one thing I had really against it was it wasn't really that scary for a movie based on a video game, which made its popularity because of how terrifying the games were and jump scares. I was really hoping that we'd get more like jump scares and just horror parts with more anticipation. In the first movie, we got that in the second, which is why I like the second. There's a lot more just anticipation scenes, more action, more horror elements to the movie. So I like this movie a lot better. Um, well, that being said, critics are tearing this movie apart. Critics are ripping this movie to shreds. I believe it currently has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is right now 20% lower than what the first movie was, which got a 33%. And yeah, so far, if you look at basically any critic, they hate the movie. They think it sucks. But, and this is why I don't listen to critics, this movie was not made for the fucking critics. Critics, fuck you. This was not made for you. This was made for the Five Nights at Freddy's fans who know the lore, who played the games, which is why it has an 88% audience score, which is 2% higher than the last movie. I understand it's only been a week, things could change, but don't let the Rotten Tomatoes score make you, if you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan who hasn't seen the movie yet, you've been thinking about seeing it, but just you don't like the low score and you're concerned about it, don't be. I think it's a great movie, and the only reason it's rated so low is because the critics don't follow the lore, or could just think the movie's dumb. We don't, obviously. If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, you're gonna love the movie. I recommend you go watch it. Now, with that being said, another big thing I think people have held against the movie is that it changes up the lore. There's a lot of parts to the story that are much different in the movies than they were in the games and the books. That being said, don't be concerned about this. Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, said this was going to be the case. So, if you're concerned about the low score, if you're concerned about lore changing out, don't worry. It's made that way. Ignore what the critics have to say. It's a good movie for Five Nights at Freddy's fans. If you're concerned about the lore, don't be worried about it. They're gonna make it work out. You gotta change up some lore. It's kind of like books. If you ever seen a movie that was a book, had a book written about it as well, there's gonna be some parts of it that are different because if you write a book, you have a whole lot of different ways you can tell the story. If you're in a movie, you only got about an hour, 2 hours, maybe three. You gotta change some things up. And knowing the original plan was that there was only going to be about three movies, I think was what the plan was for Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a lot of story that I gotta get in the three movies. So, that being said, it still focuses on the main lore. It still focuses on the main idea of the existence of Five Nights at Freddy's, so you still get that. And again, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Lore is easy to understand. There is a lot more horror to it. And most importantly, the way the movie is written now and takes place, it easily sets up some great storylines for what the third movie could be. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the movie a little bit and how there's some ways it kind of sets up the third movie. There's a few ways. Number one, um, I think there's three main things we're going to talk about here, and what we could see in the future in the next movie, or if not the next movie, a fourth if we get a fourth. Number one. Now again, I'm going to talk about spoilers, so before I get into it, this is really bad, I know. Before I get into it, just know if you haven't seen the movie yet and you want to go see it, turn this video off. I'm going to spoil the movie. But if you've seen the movie, you just want to chat, stay around. But yeah, number one, we got to see Circus Baby. Circus Baby, for those who don't know, she was the main animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. She was in the fifth game and the sixth game and Ultimate Custom Night. And the story behind Circus Baby is in the lore, in the original lore, was that she was one of the I'm blanking. She's William Afton's daughter, Elizabeth, and well, Circus Baby isn't. Is Wow, I'm wording this terribly. Circus Baby is the animatronic that is possessed by William Afton's daughter. There we go. She's possessed by William Afton's daughter, Elizabeth Afton. And the reason why I am mentioning this is because, at least in the lore, Circus Baby's eyes are green because Elizabeth's eyes were green. Now, we only get to see Circus Baby in the movie for about 3, maybe 5 seconds. She's not a part of the movie basically at all, really. She's a part of a bad dream that Vanessa was having. Vanessa, the security guard. She's involved in something later. But, so Vanessa is having a bad dream, and in this dream, she's trying to hide from William, and she sees Circus Baby. Now, Circus Baby's eyes in this clip were green. Why is that important? Because, at least in the lore, to my understanding, and if I'm wrong, correct me, Circus Baby's eyes don't become green until Elizabeth's soul possesses the animatronic. And in Vanessa's dream, Circus Baby's eyes were green. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is basically the universe, could be the FNAF universe's way of telling us that Circus Baby has already been possessed by Elizabeth. Now, I know a lot after the last movie, some people were wondering if they were going to completely just take Elizabeth out of the storyline and that Vanessa was William's only daughter. But now that we are seeing Circus Baby with the green eyes in the second movie, even if it only is for a few seconds, I feel like this could absolutely be telling us uh, Elizabeth Afton in the movies for your series lore does exist. She's already possessing Circus Baby, and then we could see Circus Baby play a bigger role in the next movie or the fourth, depending on just when we see the character again. But that could create a lot of very interesting storylines for Vanessa and William and Springtrap for going into the next game. Because Springtrap will go into my next point. The post-credit scene of the movie is when the first location, the spot that Springtrap dies at in the first movie, or William dies in the first movie, is being just, some guys are coming in to take as many stuff out of it as possible for the horror attraction. And on the process of doing so, they stumble upon the Springtrap. The Springtrap suit, of course, with William in it. So, just like the third game had Fazbear Fright, we are going to see Fazbear Fright in the third movie, from what I've been able to tell, or what we basically all saw in the movie. And Springtrap is going to be the main antagonist. So that's going to be fun. And Circus Baby, to my knowledge, is under control by William. So whether or not we see those two actually team up in the next movie, I do not know. But we do know, based on what the post-credit scene had to say, Fazbear Fright will be in the next movie. We will see William Afton. We'll get more story on him, most likely. But most importantly, Springtrap will be back, and he will be, from what I can tell from right now, the main antagonist of the third movie. Now, I think this is the biggest one. This third and final point, really the third biggest takeaway from that movie, is what happens at the very end of it. The last 10 seconds of the movie. So, and during the movie, this involves the marionette puppet, but we get to see the marionette's background. We see the death of Charlotte, and we see how Charlotte possesses the marionette doll. They call it the marionette and not the puppet, even though the games we most often just call her the puppet, but same thing. The marionette is it becomes just this entity that possesses people. We see it with McKenna Grace's character getting possessed. We saw Abby get possessed near the end of the movie. And in the last 20 seconds of the movie, the very last clip of the movie, Vanessa gets possessed by Charlotte, by the marionette. Now, the reason I want to talk about this the most is because this could potentially bring up Five Nights at Freddy's security breach lore. I say that because Vanessa in the movie is a police officer. Vanessa in Security Breach is a security guard. Similar fields. And in Security Breach, Vanessa goes on to become the character people call Vanny. Vanny is not an animatronic, it's just a fabric suit, like a fabric bunny suit. And it's the suit that Vanessa, aka Vanny, starts using after she is possessed by Glitch Trap, which is Springtrap, which is William Afton. Confusing, I know. But getting back into the movie, we are now seeing Vanessa getting possessed by Charlotte. Now, whether or not Charlotte is actually under William's control or just trying to protect the kids, I have no idea. We're not going to know until the next movie, but once again, Vanessa is possessed. And in the post audio clip, in the very last audio bit during the credits, when we see Henry getting off his warning to Michael, we hear what basically sounds like him getting attacked by the marionette, which I'm assuming it's the marionette, and Vanessa possessed by the marionette based on the way it sounds, saying she's here, but to my knowledge, that's what it was. It was Henry being attacked. Now, again, there's a lot of game material to cover here. We don't know if Vanessa is going to become Vanny, or if this is just going to be another one of the marionette's possessions that ends out fine once they play the music box, if they can find the music box, that is. But the movie ends off with Vanessa being possessed. Now, it's because a lot of debate over whether or not Vanessa is going to be Vanny or just another possession of the marionette. But the next guarantee we have going into the next movie is that Vanessa is going to be possessed by the marionette, at least at the very beginning of it. So, I guess you can kind of call that my predictions for the next movie. I mean, or what happened in the movie. My only predictions really for the next movie is that, again, we're going to see Springtrap as the main antagonist. We're going to see Fazbear Fright. I imagine we're going to see some clips of Circus Baby again. I imagine. My prediction is that we're going to see Vanessa as Vanny at the beginning of the movie, whether or not she ends the movie as Vanny, whether or not Michael and Abby are able to free her from Charlotte and have Charlotte just. Trying to think of the word for it. Whether or not Vanessa is going to be free from Charlotte's possession, we don't know. But at least those are my three predictions of what we could see in the next movie, as well as some things that happen in the movie. What I do like about this movie, there's another thing that I do like about it, is the fact that we have these questions. Because for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of people online saying the exact same thing, that they have no idea what's going to happen in this next movie, other than the few things I just mentioned. But it could be a good thing. Like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's has a whole lot of source material from the game lore, the books, everything they cover from outside the movie universe. And as far as I'm concerned, they're going to try to use as much of it as they can. And here in the movies, the first movie, the only really guarantee we had if for a second movie was that there's going to be the toy animatronics. Now, although we know for sure we're gonna get three things, which in my opinion is more guarantees we had from the first coming into the second, there's still a whole lot more blank space that we don't know what's gonna happen in the third movie, which is what makes it super interesting. Because again, there's a lot of source material in game for them to cover. We don't know what they're gonna use, but they have a whole lot of options for when they do start making that third movie. Now, Matthew Lillard, the actor for William Afton slash Springtrap, I believe it was at New York Comic Con when he said that if the movie's a hit, or basically when it's a hit, which it has been, that we were going to get the third. So basically, by the sounds of it, I wouldn't be surprised if they already had the third movie in the script writing process already, maybe even close to the end of it. And that the only thing they really have to do is make the sets and start filming soon. Now, knowing how much of a cliffhanger it is driving me crazy knowing we do not know when the third movie is going to come out. I'm hoping we get 2026, although it's most likely we're going to get it in 27. That's totally fine. If that's the case, 2027 has a whole lot of superstar movies and a lot of cool things happening in it, and the third movie for Five Nights at Freddy's will just be another part of it. Now, yet again, there is nothing confirmed. I literally just Googled, threw into Google, when are we going to get the third Five Nights at Freddy's movie? And that's what it came up with earlier. Let me Google it one more time. It just came up from a Google search. Alright, so yet again, this is just, you can't really see it, but this is just Google AI. It's like a UFC notification, bro. Yeah, again, just throw it into Google. When will we get the third Five Nights at Freddy's movie? While there is no official release date, obviously the second movie just came out. Five Nights at Freddy's series expected to start filming in late 2025 or early 2026, following the success of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 released in December 2025. With a potential 27 or 28 release, continuing the story of Mike Schmidt and William Afton as teased by star Matthew Lillard and producer Jason Blum at Comic Con 2025. So yeah, it looks like production's gonna start soon, which is great. I was really hoping that we would get it at the end of 26, but it's whatever. We can wait until 27. But if they are starting production this early though, I am hoping that means we won't have to wait too long for the third movie to come out in 2027. Maybe we'll get it during the summer. I'm hoping we get it during the summer. First movie came out in the fall of 23 around Halloween, and the second movie just came out last week. It's midnight and 3 minutes, so in 3 minutes from the time I hit end recording, it's gonna be a week since the movie came out. So, yeah, December around after Thanksgiving, close to Christmas, is when the second movie has come out. I'm hoping this means we can get the third movie in the summer of 2027. It would really take off a lot of waiting and knowing how much hype is around Five Nights at Freddy's at the moment because of the second movie, and how much people I know are dying to get the end of the cliffhanger. I do hope they try to release the movie as quickly as possible. Seeing potential for it in 2028 is maybe a little bit concerning that it would take that long. I doubt that'll be the case though. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up then. Once again, it's almost midnight. It's tired. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. But these are just my thoughts about Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What I thought about the movie, how I thought the future of the franchise will look as far as the movie goes. Again, I like the movie. It's 8.5 out of 10 for me. I liked it more than the first. Screw the critics. Um, and after this movie, I feel like there's a lot more unanswered questions, despite the fact that we had more answered than unanswered compared to one after the first movie came out. There's a lot of different ways they can play it. There's a lot of different ways they can use these characters, which is why I am really excited for this third movie when it comes out. And and again, it looks like production may be starting very, very soon. If not, maybe it already has. If it hasn't yet, it'll start very early next year. That's according to what I saw on the Google AI. It could be wrong, but it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's 3 for sure is going to be a thing, especially after how successful the first movie has been. Um, I'm just going to the box office go real quick because it's been doing really good. Let's see. So, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So, domestically, it has grossed 73 million worldwide and 46 million, or 73 million domestically, 46 million international, for a grand total of $120 million worldwide. So, it's a lot. I'm pretty sure the budget for the movie was like $36 million. So, you know, it's already made nearly 3 times compared to what it's already made over. I think I suck at math. Hang on. Yeah, so it's already made 300% of the budget back. So that's pretty good. Um, so yeah, this video is very unorganized. Sorry, just I didn't really have a game plan for this video. I was just gonna sit in front of the camera and just rumble, yap for 20 minutes now. But yeah, I just had a lot of thoughts about Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and no one to share them with, so I put it on YouTube. If you have any opinions on the movie, if anybody watches Five Nights at Freddy's who watches my videos, if you have any opinions on what the series has been so far, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to make a video where I can, deep dive more over the internet and talk about more fan theories or predictions for what the next movie is going to be like, even if it is going to be years away and the second movie just came out a week ago. But I am looking forward to it. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in another Five Nights at Freddy's video. So I'm gonna make another video soon for you WWE fans out there talking about John Cena's final match on Saturday. Cannot believe it's already here. But that's gonna wrap it up. I'll make that video. Hopefully I'll make another Five Nights at Freddy's video soon. Another Five Nights at Freddy's video soon. Until then, thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time.